Dear brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus, one of the important structures of participation at the diocesan level is the Diocesan Pastoral Council. This council is described in the Code of Canon Law from 511 to 514. Dear friends, the principle of communion and participation are at the source of this participatory structure. In fact, these canons and this particular structure is derived from the teachings of Vatican II, especially Christus Dominus number 27, the document on the bishops, and also Ad Gentes, the missionary activity of the church, number 30. There are some other post-conciliar documents which spoke elaborately on this topic, like Ecclesiae Sanctae, and then the circular letter from the Congregation for Clergy later, and then the synodal document on ministerial priesthood. All these spoke about this particular structure of participation. In recent times, we must pay attention to the directory on the pastoral ministry of bishops that was published in 2004, Apostolorum Successoris, especially number 184. Why this structure of participation? As you are aware, the diocese is defined in Canon 369 as the portion of the people of God that is entrusted to the bishop with the cooperation of his presbyters for taking care of the pastoral ministry of the people entrusted to his care. And these people also are participants in the exercise of the mission of the church. They are not only the recipients of the pastoral ministry, they are also active agents of the pastoral ministry. With regard to this particular structure, the very first canon, 511, speaks about its establishment. The first question is whether it is obligatory or optional. I would say it is not strictly obligatory because it is left to the judgment of the diocesan bishop. At the same time, it is not purely optional because the diocesan bishop judges whether it is necessary or not basing on the pastoral circumstances of the diocese. In recent times, even the synodal fathers on the Synod on Synodality insisted that this structure of participation, that is, Diocesan Pastoral Council, needs to be made obligatory. What is the scope of this particular council? The scope is described in the same canon. It is to study, weigh matters concerning the pastoral activity and propose practical conclusions regarding the same. So, all that concerns pastoral ministry is of interest to this particular council. With regard to the composition, the diocese consists primarily of the lay persons. Naturally, lay persons must be the majority of members of this particular council. There should also be clerics, members of institutes of consecrated life. Though the canon doesn't specially mention members of societies of apostolic life, it is also understood. And then, if there are permanent deacons, they can also be members. So, all categories of the people of God, with a special focus on the lay persons, must be the members of this particular council. What about the qualification of these members? The primary qualification of the members of the Diocesan Pastoral Council is that they must be persons who are in full communion with the Catholic Church. We have already seen in the light of Canon 205 what it means to be in full communion. Those baptized who are linked with the Catholic Church by the same profession of faith, by the same sacraments, and are subject to the ecclesiastical governance are said to be in full communion. That means the non-Catholics or non-baptized cannot be members of the Diocesan Pastoral Council. In addition, the canon speaks of moral qualification of the members. They should be persons of strong faith, of good morals, and also persons of prudence. Only then they will be able to contribute substantially, authentically, for the better functioning of the council. Like any other participatory structure, it is necessary that the Diocesan Pastoral Council also has its own statutes. Everything is not mentioned in these canons, that is in canons 511 to 514. The particular law must define those things that are needed for the right functioning of this particular council. Say, for example, with regard to the choice of the members, if it is by election, how they are to be elected. If they are ex officio, who are those who hold office who can be part of this council? And how often they can meet, though the universal law says it must meet at least once a year. So many things need to be defined in the particular provisions for this council in the form of the statutes. Pastoral council also should have a duration. Here again, the universal law leaves it to the particular law of the diocese or to the statutes to determine how long is the tenure. After the expiry of the tenure, another new Diocesan Pastoral Council can be established. Coming to the question of its dissolution, sometimes it happens that some of the councils do not do their duty or the members tend to abuse their office. In such situations, it is for the statutes to mention clearly the prerogative of the diocesan bishop, who can always dissolve such a council. In addition, whenever the episcopal see becomes vacant, the council also lapses. Coming to the themes that are to be discussed by this council, we said in general it is about the pastoral ministry or initiatives. Apostolorum Successoris speaks of a number of things which can be discussed, on which practical suggestions can be proposed. For example, the pastoral plan of the diocese, then help to the clergy, then catechesis, doctrinal formation of the people of God, then missionary initiatives. So many areas are there about which the Diocesan Pastoral Council can be concerned and really offer useful suggestions. The late Holy Father Pope Francis once said, "How can we imagine a diocese, or for that matter a parish, without a pastoral council?" Though universal law, as of now, does not make them obligatory, we can understand the importance given by the Holy Father and so many bishops to this particular structure of participation. Let us all be part of this council. Let us contribute to the pastoral activity. As I already said, the mission of Christ is to be exercised by each and every one in the church. Every member can contribute. Every member needs to be active. Of course, everything in accordance with the law. In accordance with the Synod on Synodality, let us promote communion, participation, and mission through the Diocesan Pastoral Council. God bless you.